Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another video, and today we are going to be going over MW3 settings. That would be controller settings, graphic settings, and your in-game audio settings. So let's start off here with the controller at the top here. I personally play on flipped, and if you go in here, I've also played on tactical. So the first thing you want to do, adjust your analog sticks and what button preset you play on, and make sure whether or not you were on flipped or not. Then we instantly have our dead zones. Personally, in this game, you can actually test them. Everyone is going to be different depending on which controller you use, how new it is, how broken in it is. I personally run 199 on the left and anywhere between 3 and 6 on the right for this. Right now I'm at 4 and 99. Trigger dead zones as well. You can test those just as you can test the analog sticks. And then we're going to move over into the aiming here. I play on 661. All my multipliers are just 1. Same thing with the vertical aim, leave that normal. A big thing, if you guys already aren't or already don't know, you want to play on dynamic aim response curve. And you also want to make sure this is on instant. You don't want it to be on gradual or after zoom. No custom sensitivities per zoom. If you prefer custom sensitivities, obviously you can edit that. I play on default aim assist. Some people do like to try to black ops. If you want a a stickier aim assist that is going to be on a player, you can maybe try out the black ops aim assist. I'm personally not a very big fan, but I do know a lot of people in the past that do elect to use the black ops aim assist option. So pretty standard for the rest of the settings there. And then this is more so like gameplay and movement. You probably want to run to save your controller and your thumbs and your hands and you know, prevent some carpal tunnel. You probably want to run some single tap to sprint or automatic tack sprint on a lot of people are fans of, but I personally think it's easier just to run single tap to sprint. All these settings should be default. You want your sprinting door bash on, and then besides that, these are all pretty standard. I don't think any of these are changed besides I use prioritize interact. I recommend you guys maybe want to hold off on this one. This is a little bit more personal preference. And that should round it out for controller settings, to be honest. I don't think we need to change anything else there unless you guys have a specific preference. Let's go over into the graphic settings. Full screen exclusive, obviously. The video reflex low latency, you just want to keep that on. Eco mode preset, definitely keep that at custom. You don't want to run efficiency or low consumption. I do not believe. Yeah, you definitely don't want to. You want to keep that on custom. Anyways, VSync off, custom frame rate. I personally run unlimited. And focused mode, I do believe you want focus mode to be on 0 here. That is a new feature. Fidelity cast, I play mine on 70. If you want things to look a little bit sharper and like they have just a little bit more clarity, you can up that to, you know, all the way up to 100. VRAM scale target, as you guys can see here at the bottom right, you know, I have almost 11K or 11 gigabytes available here. So, you know, whether I'm putting mine on 80 or 90 doesn't really matter much, but, you know, I keep mine at 80. You can move yours to 90 if you really want. If you feel like your VRAM is kind of getting near that bar down there, maybe move it up. But for me, it's nowhere near the bar, so I think I'm good on 80. As far as the texture resolutions, I play with all these on low. Your detail quality level, normal. Depth of field, make sure you have that off. Bullet impact sprays, I personally keep those on. Everything else pretty much low and off. Shadow quality very low. Terrain memory minimum. This could be grayed out for you depending on what type of settings you have in your BattleNet. But if this is not grayed out, I would recommend you put it on minimum. And for water quality, you definitely want water caustics. Now, as far as field of view, in Call of Duty multiplayer, you want to keep your field of view under 105. The reason for this is because of how aim assist works in Call of Duty. Typically, when you start increasing your field of view over the 105 mark, you are going to probably lose aim assist. The game's going to feel a little wonky. So I advise, especially in multiplayer, to keep it between somewhere under 104, you know. So ideally between 95 and 104 would be like a good sweet spot. I personally run 95 independent. I don't see any reason to run anything higher than 95 in this game. Weapon field of view, also important to put it on wide here. You can ignore these two options. Weapon motion blur off, film grain off. least, and then gain perspective for the camera. And that should round you out in the graphics setting. And then last but not least, your audio. You want it to be on headphones. You want it to be on stereo. And then obviously you select your own personal speaker device. And then honestly, for as far as sound settings are concerned, your effects volume is going to be the footsteps that you hear. The effects volume is going to be all the really loud, obnoxious noises that bleed your ears. But unfortunately, footsteps are a part of that. So the higher you put the effects volume, the better chance you are going to have at, you know, possibly hearing opponents or hearing enemies' footsteps. So I personally keep mine a little bit lower just to prevent my ears from, you know, bleeding. But to each their own. Effects volume is the most important out of all of these. So. Alright, that should do it for all the audio, graphics, and controller settings. I hope you guys like this video. In the future, we're definitely going to do an overclocking guide for the controllers along with a sound EQ guide so that you guys can have the best audio experience on MW3. So, hope you guys like this video, and thank you guys for all watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.